Do you remember your birthday as a kid, where you got all excited about the gifts that you were going to get, the people that were going to come? Well, this cook is going to be like that. We're going to smoke a brisket today. We're going to do this on our Kamado Joe Big Joe. We're going to set it up to smoke at 140 degrees Celsius, which is around 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So we get rid of all the old ash, put in new charcoal, big chunk hickory on top. A chunk this size is more than enough. Then we put on the heat deflectors to create an indirect heat. And then what I like to do is put in the grill grates, put a dripping pan on top, and then another set of grill grates over that. This way your dripping pan doesn't sit directly on your heat deflector, and this prevents all the grease and fluids from burning and giving a horrible smoke to your brisket. Time to take a closer look at this beauty. Well, this is the reason why it feels like a birthday. This is an Australian Wagyu brisket. They're renowned for having great marbling. And when you're cooking a brisket and you're spending a lot of money already, spending the extra money is definitely worth it. Look at that. That's a beauty. And this is the reason why I was so excited. A cut like this in the Netherlands costs around 99 euros. What I'd like to do is from the bottom get off as much fat as possible. This will be the top side when we start smoking it, so we won't need this fat to protect it. And even if this is soft fat, we'll just make it look good. So what I did I took off this part, which is on top, and when we smoke it and when we want to even cook, I like about the same thickness. So what I definitely know is that these small ends right here, they're just too small compared to the thick part here, so they will probably burn as well. I will try and cut some off, just the part where it's really thin, and I got a little part that's thin here as well. And this is perfect for burned ends. So we'll smoke that with this part, but we'll just season it. So when we smoke it, then we get the opportunity to make some great burned ends. We'll put rub on both sides, just like we do the brisket, and put it next to the brisket. And in that way we get about even cooking time, because look, it's the same height as the brisket is. Even thickness, even cooking time. And now that we got this nice and trimmed, we'll start up and season this. If this trimming scares you a little bit, then don't worry about it. You can forget about the trimming, just buy your brisket as it is and skip this whole part. I'm just doing this to create a perfect brisket. Now that the brisket is all trimmed up, it's time to sprinkle it with some olive oil to make sure we get the rub to stick. For this brisket I will do a test rub that hopefully one day I will be able to make available for you guys. And this rub mainly consists of black pepper, garlic and some green herbs. She's trimmed, she's seasoned, and she's ready to go on the smoker. So we'll open up the smoker, we'll smoke it fat cap down. You want a bit of space between the brisket and the part where the burnt ends go, so that you're sure that all the flavor of the smoke is getting everywhere. The brisket has reached a core temperature of 65 degrees Celsius, which is around 150 degrees Fahrenheit. It's time to take it off the grill and start wrapping it. It has a beautiful red mahogany color. This tells us that we have got a nice smoke ring on it and we're ready to wrap. So we lined our oven tray with some new tin foil. Now we can take the brisket off. There you go. For the burned ends, we'll put that in there together with the brisket. Take another sheet of tin foil and put that on top. And it's ready to go back on. Let her sit for another 2 to 3 hours until she reaches a core temperature between 200 and 205 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 96 degrees Celsius, 98 degrees Celsius. The brisket is done. It's at 96 degrees Celsius, which is 205 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to take it off, wrap it for 2 hours and we'll let it rest. We'll just set it in the oven, set the oven to 50 degrees Celsius, which is around 120 degrees Fahrenheit, just to keep it warm. We don't want to heat it up, so we'll just let it sit there in the oven for 2 hours. And after 2 hours you're going to have a proper brisket. So it's been over 2 hours and we're going to have a closer look. Wow. This looks like a mighty fine brisket to me. So we'll lift the brisket out and get her on the board so we can start slicing her up. So we'll separate the flat from the point because they got the grain running in a different direction. Let's start slicing in here. Look at that, guys. Look how crazy good that looks. We'll do the pull test, a little bit elastic, and then pop. Yeah, that's perfect. And it's time to get working on our burned ends. It already has an insane good looking bark. We'll just start squaring it up. We'll put them in the tray, and I just like to get a little bit of that brisket chew on there. Just a bit of the goodness. This is not to make them look good, just is to make them taste good. And these burned ends are going to be a treat. So I want to add a little barbecue rub, but I'm not using the brisket type of rub that I used before. I'm just adding a little bit of pork rub. It has more sweetness in it, just to give it that little bit of extra sweetness and quick bark. Make sure you get it all in there. Time to throw these back on the Big Joe. We're still at 150 degrees Celsius, which is 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll pop them on, leave them on for about 50 minutes just to get a little bit of that bark. They're done, the burned ends are done, and they look so good. So let's plate these up. They used to be underrated, now they're not anymore. So we're allowed to show them for what they are. Little cubes of absolute goodness. And voila! That looks good, right? Just a little bit of barbecue sauce on top. And now that we're acting crazy anyway, I got some oregano flowers here. We'll go Michelin star restaurant on these crazy ass burned ends. Well, the only thing I've proven so far is that I can make burned ends look good. But now, of course, I have to prove that they taste good. And I don't think this will be a punishment. Definitely not a punishment. These burned ends taste so good. It's just insane. Squeaky, wiggly, delicious. What more can you wish for? All aboard! You need to go out and make some burned ends.